The Connection podcast, hosted by Yuma County Anti-Drug Coalition and Yuma County Mental Health Coalition, is a community-focused podcast dedicated to informing, educating, and empowering listeners on drug prevention, mental health awareness, and strengthening partnerships for a healthier future.
Welcome to the Connection podcast, brought to you by R.L. Jones Insurance. Hi, I'm Ginny LeGros, Executive Director for Yuma County Mental Health Coalition, and also working with Yuma County Anti-Drug Coalition. I'm here today. I'm so excited to have our special guest. I've known him for a long time, but I'm excited that in this capacity, we're talking about the coalitions and what it means to this person. So I'm going to just let him introduce himself.
Hey, my name is Michael Odum. I'm a lead pastor at Journey Church here in Yuma, and I've been a part of the Yuma Drug Coalition now for roughly like 2, maybe 3 years, close to 3 years.
Yeah, and it's exciting to hear that because I didn't come on to the coalition until, probably about a year ago. The Yuma County Anti-Drug Coalition had been around for a few years, several years out actually, but with Joanne Pfizer being the executive director just for a few years now. But last year, when I retired, one of the things our chairperson, Shelley Mellon, said, I have a job for you now that you're retired. And so one of the things they were finding at the Yuma County Anti-Drug Coalition meetings were that this topic of, mental health awareness and mental health concerns within our community were coming up with around the table. And so instead of creating a whole separate coalition that met at separate times and everything like that and being redundant, we decided to create the Yuma County Mental Health Coalition, but then join forces and hold the same meetings, having everyone around that same table and be able to connect and collaborate. So I was super excited because the coalition obviously has all sectors of the community, including faith-based groups. So it was just cool because I hadn't realized that you were our Journey Church was part of the coalition. So that was an extra bonus for me. So tell us what it's meant to you and Journey Church to be a part of the coalition.
Yeah, it's been really great on a lot of levels. For me individually, it's been so great to be able to just have such a huge awareness of how much help we have in our community around dealing with people who are in crisis or people who just need help. And so I've been able to personally plug several members of our community who've just been going through things. And just because I've been a part of the coalition, I've had people's phone numbers. I've been able to get people, into help as quickly as possible. And so that's been incredible. And then just on a larger level, we've had, because of the coalition, we've been able to invite local officers in to come into our church and share about what's been happening in the community, what's happening in the schools, which then actually led to people in our church inviting them to go give presentations at a school and in some other areas. And so it's been incredible. The amount of awareness that's grown just through that has been awesome. And then for us to help them, it's also been great. Like this last week, we put out a call for anybody who needed volunteer help. We wanted to kind of plug our small groups into being able to serve somewhere in the community. And so just from that one call, there's 3 different areas in which we're helping around Juneteenth, 3 different organizations that we'll be helping send manpower to go and serve, and then hopefully give some of the people in our church some awareness around, and even some relationship around some of those organizations here in the community.
Yeah, I remember that meeting. And that was Beverly asking about volunteers for Juneteenth. So I remember that. And that's one of the coolest things about the meetings themselves is the amount of connections that are made right then and there. When we're giving those updates and everything like that, you can already see it happening, like, oh, hey, I need to talk to you after, and things like that. And like I said, it's just really cool to see. It's not just one type of group or organization that belongs to the coalition. It's all different sectors of the community. And so when you're really needing to reach out for help and everything like that, in different parts of the community, you have those resources right there at the table during those meetings. And so, what are some of the other things that you see happening as far as like within the community, as far as some of the needs that are happening right now?
Some of the needs in the community. One of the biggest needs is, I would say, probably community when it comes around the issues of alcohol and drug abuse. We've realized we put together a 12-week challenge program at Journey, in which we had pretty good success with. We had several members go through and were able to get clean and break free from addiction. But and we kind of knew this going into it, but it just became even clearer coming out of it, is that community is one of the most central things in just allowing people to remain free from addiction. And so I would say just building those communities and those networks of people to be together, to be able to drop the stigma and to be able to talk vulnerably and honestly about what's going on and feel encouraged and supported. I think the more that we can foster that, especially at church, which tends, to just automatically, in some people's minds, kind of create some shyness away from being vulnerable or honest, or maybe feel judgment. If we can foster that in church community, I think it's one of the most successful places for people to overcome some of those issues. I think it's something like 73% of all recovery programs have some kind of faith-based connection in them, or some kind of higher power connection. And I think that the church is an incredible avenue for fostering that kind of community, where people really need people who care about them and who can relate to them, to stay in it with them, to stay in the struggle that doesn't always end, even when the official chemical addiction ends.
Right. Definitely. I firmly believe that Journey Church is about community. That is a common theme, and people being able to come into, like you said, the church and feel vulnerable and be able to trust is difficult, right? Yeah. And it takes time to build that relationship and that community. So what are some of the things that you would encourage people to do as far as how to do that, how to start that?
Yeah, I think being involved, getting involved, I'm hoping, so one of my hopes is that as our volunteers go out and serve on Juneteenth with some of these organizations, I think fostering those relationships and being close to people who are working in those different areas, I think that's huge. I think it's a start. And I just, I encourage people just to take a chance at being vulnerable themselves. I mean, for me, I I tend to air my dirty laundry on the platform often, because I really do think it kind of sets people free to just, if they realize I'm a flawed, broken person who's also struggled with addiction, I joined our 12-week challenge group. I led it, but I told them I'm here as an addict myself, and and they all kind of laughed at me because my addiction, I told them, was video games, and they all thought that was so silly. And it's like we worked through the different stages of the weeks, and I started, as I would describe to them what I experienced, they're like, oh my gosh, like that's what we experienced, in addiction to alcohol or meth or marijuana, all the different things that people were dealing with there. And I think through me, just to be able to recognize that, addiction comes in many forms, and I've been prey to addiction, and it's had the potential to destroy my life, and it's tough. And to this day, there's certain boundaries I have to put up in my life that other people don't have, and to be able to talk about that, I think, and risk, being judged or risk offending. Sometimes, sometimes it can be painful. Sometimes it does offend, or sometimes I am judged. But most of the time, I find that it actually allows other people to be free and just be honest. And I think sometimes those connections and community can be fostered a lot quicker when we're just willing to be real.
Right. And relatable. that ends up making you relatable. And I've known you for a long time, and so what's interesting and about you is that you're, yes, you're the pastor of the church and everything like that, and on Sundays you would never know it, but when you get off the stage, you're an introvert, by nature. So it is a good a lead by example to be able to be vulnerable and to be that model, for others, and it makes them more comfortable to be vulnerable themselves, right? To feel like they can trust to be able to have that vulnerability, when sharing and things like that. And it's all about our relationships are all rooted in trust. And then share with, because there are many other things actually that the church does as far as helping people, like with outreach and things like that. And then they all tie back to, mental health. Like even when you were talking about like addictions and the substance abuse or addictions of other things like video games and whatnot, we're talking about looking and being aware of those things and then turning those things into finding healthy coping mechanisms and things like that. But there are some other groups that I'm going off tangent. I want to talk about too many things, I think. But first, maybe share about, I know that the Journey Church has always been kind of tied to Healing Journey, too. Is there anything that you'd like to share maybe about that?
Yeah, so the Healing Journey serves victims of domestic violence and abuse, and I served on the board there for many years, and our church has been tied to them a lot through finances and volunteering for different things, and even just through helping promote them at times. And that's a huge need in our community, especially because with that one in particular, what was really difficult for me as a board member to learn and kind of just be involved with in our community is that a lot of what's happening with a lot of the sex trafficking that happens in our community is that a lot of it's actually on the surface. Like a lot of the guys that were abusing underage girls, they had profiles, Facebook profiles that were public, where they were flaunting money and the girls on their pictures, and so it was crazy to me that this is out in the public. And does the public even know about this? Like we as a community, and for whatever reason, they weren't at the time they weren't able to be arrested or taken off the streets, and so it was really eye-opening for me to see that there's this very real issue going on just right in full view of our community, yet our community is completely unaware. And so I think growing awareness around that was
pulling back the curtain on a lot of the different things
to know this is going on in our schools, or these people are very, they're just right out here in our community,
right,
and they're not even hiding. And
and unfortunately has a snowball negative effect of those girls, they come into that system, I'll call it, and then they end up acquiring addictions, and and then they also acquire self-harm and mental health issues, for sure. And so all of it is just tied together. What are some of the things that you feel like just moving forward in our community? What are some additional things that you think we could be doing as a community?
Yeah. I would love other churches, and we're starting to see that in the coalition. We're starting to see other churches come in, but I think the church has a very unique ability to be able to support and foster awareness around a lot of the missions that the coalition's trying to achieve, because we've got such a unique mix of people. From the family level all the way to people working in the education system and the government and in the corporate world, and so it's usually every time we're involved with something, there's these connections that are being made, and it's taken a step further, even beyond the church, for either a presentation to be made or some kind of funding to happen between an initiative. And so to me, if the churches can continue to be a part of the bridge between a lot of the agencies we have in town and what's happening, and on a Sunday morning, there's just a ton of potential for families to be aware, prevent, a lot of things from happening, or be involved in, helping our community heal. And so I would love to see churches continue to be more involved. And honestly, I feel like most churches, including us, that we're chomping at the bit to figure out where can we serve, like how can we be a part of our community in a meaningful way. Most of us have facilities that aren't being used during the week. We've got people who would love to do, good things. And so, man, to me, it's just untapped potential for, however many churches we have in Yuma to be sitting around, and many of them completely unaware of all the agencies and all the work that's going on in our community.
Well, you said it best. I think we're going to end on that high note. That untapped potential. There's still so much more.
Yeah.
We're doing some good work, but we still have more to do.
Yeah.
And so, but the possibilities are endless, and I love that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like to share?
No, anything else other than if you don't have a home church, where Journey Church meets on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. and everyone is welcome. We're on County 14 and 3E, and our website
I always
is
wonder that too.
journeyyuma.church.
That's awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited that I got a chance to chat with you today. And again, our podcast, check us out on all of our social media handles. We are on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, you name it, we're there. So come check us out. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'm going to leave you with the quote, my favorite quote by Johnny Weathersby. And every day there is a best moment. We just have to find it. So find yours. Have a good day, everyone. Bye for now.